As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, sinister shadows over the quiet town of Point Pleasant, an eerie hush fell upon the streets. It was a place known for its tranquility, nestled beside the meandering Ohio River, but tonight, an ominous presence hung in the air. The townsfolk had heard whispers, tales passed down through generations, of a creature that haunted the woods that bordered their idyllic community. They called it the Mothman, a name that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who dared utter it. On this particular evening, a young journalist named Emily had arrived in Point Pleasant, drawn by the chilling legends that had taken root in the town's history. She checked into the quaint Riverside Inn, a charming relic from a bygone era, nestled beside the murky waters of the Ohio River. Emily's curiosity was insatiable. Armed with her camera and a notebook, she ventured out into the dusk. She couldn't shake the feeling that the story of the Mothman was more than just a local legend. As she walked through the dimly lit streets, she began to notice the anxious glances exchanged between the townsfolk. Their eyes betrayed their unease, though none spoke of it. Her quest led her to the local diner, where she hoped to gather information from the townspeople. The atmosphere was heavy, the air thick with unspoken fear. Emily approached an elderly man sipping his coffee at the counter, his trembling hands betraying his nervousness. "Excuse me, sir," she began tentatively. "I'm a journalist, and I've come to learn more about the Mothman. Do you have a moment to talk?" The man's eyes widened with dread, and he leaned in closer, as if sharing a forbidden secret. "You shouldn't be asking about that, young lady. Some things are best left buried in the past." Undeterred, Emily pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. The locals began to whisper amongst themselves, casting wary glances her way, but one brave soul finally spoke up. It was an elderly woman with a tremor in her voice. "You'll find answers at the Silver Bridge," she said, her eyes pleading. "But beware the darkness that haunts those waters." Emily took their words to heart and headed to the bridge that connected Point Pleasant to the neighboring town of Gallup. The night had grown colder, the moon a mere sliver in the inky sky. As she stood on the bridge, the sound of the rushing river below echoed in her ears, drowning out the town's eerie silence. Suddenly, a bone-chilling gust of wind whipped through the air, causing Emily to shiver involuntarily. She raised her camera to capture the moment when she heard a soft, otherworldly hum, like the wings of some unholy creature unfurled. Fear gripped her heart as she turned to see a figure, tall and dark, with glowing red eyes staring back at her from the shadows. The Mothman had emerged from the depths of legend, and it was real. Time seemed to stand still as Emily and the Mothman locked eyes. She fumbled for her notebook, desperate to document the encounter, but when she looked up, the creature had vanished, leaving only the echoes of its eerie hum. Emily's hands shook as she rushed back to her room at the Riverside Inn, the town's secrets closing in around her. The Mothman of Point Pleasant was no longer just a legend, it was a living nightmare, and Emily had become entangled in its web of terror. As the night deepened and darkness consumed the town, Emily knew that she had embarked on a journey that would unravel the very fabric of her reality, and she couldn't turn back. The Mothman's presence loomed over Point Pleasant, casting a long and chilling shadow that would haunt her dreams for years to come.